All right, now we're officially starting. Thanks everyone for joining us for Friday's storage meetup. You're at the top of the hour, you're not late, but we start this also about 30 minutes ahead of time just for kind of a pre-show hangout. And we had a good one today talking about collections and all sorts of fun stuff. So, well, I think it's fun because I'm a storage nerd. But no, already getting some value out of this stuff before we actually start. So, a little reminder, yeah, we're starting these little 30 minutes ahead of time just as a free flowing conversation that you want to join. That's awesome. And that kind of leads into today's no real agenda for today. Today's going to be free flowing as well. So please, anything comes up, bring it up, put it in chat. I prefer this in chat. If you can rename yourself, your name, business name, this kind of helps. We're looking at everybody who you belong to, kind of a thing. Put in chat, questions, wins that's going on. That's a great way we can find that and make sure we get your questions and comments addressed because this hour it goes by really fast. So anyway, appreciate you guys being here. Enough of my spiel. I interrupted you guys, so go back to it. Who did I interrupt?
Yeah, I was just saying, Anthony, that's a good point bringing that up. I mean, I know like with our stores, we have in course satisfaction managers are allowed to, 80% will waive 20% off the bat. But most of my managers, I try to have that trust in them. But we kind of, I let them do the same thing. Is, when you cut that unit, you kind of know we've been in it long enough. Like, okay, this is, stuff that's been, old Christmas decorations for 35 years, somebody forgot about. If you can get $50 for it, get it. But, you know, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's always that one off. Maybe you make some extra money, but I think we all know more than not, no one comes out on the positive on the unit. So like, if you can get it back to them at a little bit of discounted rate, they get their stuff back. We're not the bad guy for selling their family pictures, and all that kind of good stuff. So I think, that's something that a lot of people forget, Anthony, is what you talked about is you got to talk to his customers. I mean, the first question I always ask them is, what can you do? Like realistically, tell me what can you do? It has to be a win-win for all of us. If you owe me $600, don't say $50. Make it. What can we do reasonably to get you your stuff back? We move on. We put a tenant in there that can rent the unit. So, I think that's a big point that a lot of people don't think about. Some are just like, well, it's auction. It is what it is, and we're going to move on. And then you get them out of there quicker, and you get to rent the unit quicker.
Barry, this is going to sound weird coming from me as I run an auction company. The best auction's the one that doesn't happen. I've
No,
also been in
absolutely.
operations, and if you
Hmm.
can work with your tenants and make that deal, make the deal.
Absolutely.
Barry, I think you raised a really good point, and Anthony, you said the same thing about we all have those quality managers we talk about and we trust them to do these things. One of the things I've seen over the years is making sure we empower our managers to understand the processes and do the things. And I'll give you a prime example. I was in Georgia last week and we were talking about rate increases, and everybody loves to hate them. And we talked about how the managers sometimes would get caught in the middle of those things. We actually created a long time ago a rent negotiation form that when a customer comes to a manager complaining about a rate increase, the manager says, look, I understand what you're going through. Let me see if there's anything I can do. And my manager now has a rent negotiation form that they have to fill out and understand with, okay, how many times has that customer been late? What's the standard rate of that unit? Where are they going to? What's the Veritech ranking on that unit? How many inquiries have we had on that unit? So they now understand more about the process that goes into the rate increases. And I can tell you, Barry, that after we rolled that format to our managers, the amount of managers coming back to us to ask for us to talk about a rate increase for a customer dramatically decreased because the manager understood how the rating process worked and they understood what we looked at to do the rate increase. Now they're seeing the whole process as well and saying, well, yeah, this person's, $20 below street rate. It's 100% occupied. We've had 12 inquiries for that one. The person's been late 5 times. There's no reason to go to the upper management because we know what they're going to say because it's a legitimate rate increase. So by empowering the managers to understand the process, and that's the one thing I've seen a lot, especially in consulting now. Operators have great programs and all these things they want to do, but if the manager on the front desk doesn't understand the process, it does nobody any good. So by educating the managers, and my team knew now when they came to me with a problem, they also better come with a suggestion for a solution, how we can resolve something. And by empowering your managers, it makes everybody better, just makes the whole organization do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And even that step what I do on that, like I don't have an official form, but using SiteLink, they can go in there and look at, we've taught them to give them the tools, like look at the rate management. How long has it been since their last increase? Where are they at versus street, but also most of my managers, they know they have the ability to kind of go almost make a deal, not promise them, but go, let's see if we can get you, maybe we'll cut it in half. But I've told them, basically then they have the ability to do is then come back to me and I go, okay, I can live with that this time, but they get to go back and look like the good guy, like, hey, I fought the corporate machine for you. You're a good tenant. I told them, you're never late. You're such a good tenant. And I wanted to help you out. So I really pushed my boss on it and we got it cut in half. And it makes them look like, they get to keep that good relationship with the customer that they went to battle for them. So that's how I use that tool as well, but yeah, you got to empower the managers to make decisions.
I agree on
And
that,
that-
Barry, because there's a lot of stuff that your managers have great ideas,
Mhm.
and sometimes they're just so afraid to be able to talk about it. So as long
Yeah.
as you open that communication, be like, as long as you tell me what you're thinking or what you did, I'm more than happy to be like, okay, maybe that doesn't work this time, but it could work on another instance. Or hey, I see
Mhm.
it, you're doing it this time, but maybe we don't do that future reference because of this reason. So keeping that open, I agree on that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Just curious, when you're talking about the managers, being a part of this whole process, at what point in delinquency are you having your managers start being in the process, of calling and things like that? Because,
I mean,
so much is
to me, it
text,
starts,
Immediately.
emails going out. So at what point are
Yeah.
they getting into it?
to me, it starts when they do the lease.
Yeah.
I mean delinquency. Once they hit delinquency.
I'll give you a funny one, Jim. I had a newer manager came to me, Debbie, and I, when we do our discounts, we do the 50% on the first full 2 month, whatever it is. But it's in our lease. If you don't pay your bill in time, you lose your discount, right? So this customer called in complaining she got delayed fee. Not only she got delayed fee, she lost her discount. So Debbie came to me and said, Jim, what are we going to do with this? Okay, let's look at the account. So the customer got an invoice 5 days before they were due. They got a friendly reminder the day the credit card ran on the 1st. They got the robocall. They got the text message, and they got a phone call from us before the late fee hit. So they had 5 touch points from us. And I said to Debbie, I said, we've done everything we can. Why should we waive the late fee or give them back the discount? Because they ignored us. So she got back on the phone and said to the customer, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm reviewing your account right now. And she went through exactly what we talked about. And she said, ma'am, it's kind of hard for me to go to my boss and say, we want to help you out when you ignored all of our messages. And she goes, well, I guess it was worth a chance. But Debbie then realized by looking at the account to understand the process, they could have a conversation about it.
Yeah, and she can be the expert and say, listen, I want to help you, but I'm looking at this and you clearly don't want to help yourself, right? You could have avoided all of this had you just responded on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of my times I reached out to you. Yeah.
Not to divert, but Shannon, I just gotta say, I liked your costume yesterday.
Did you see my Cookie Monster?
I saw the Cookie Monster costume.
You guys, first of all, it was fun. I'll just say it was fun. Second of all, I was at a client location, and so I had to pack a costume to take with me to be on that call because I promised I would participate with good attitude in the costuming situation. And so it had to fit like in my carry-on bag, right? But you should have seen, I'm at my client's office in this room with a glass door in my ridiculous blue Cookie Monster. And like people were finding a reason to walk by and be like, okay. And they don't know me.
How'd it go with
I'm
TSA?
excited to see your
How'd it go
guys'
at the airport?
group contest or costume thing for Texas. I've heard about it.
Oh, so that will not be my Texas costume. I was not going to do a reveal on just a webinar. Come on, man.
No, that's why I didn't say what it is. I was asked if I wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, rude. No, I'll tell you later what it was.
I can only think of one thing and one person who would ask you. So I love it. Yeah, no, I did participate in an entire webinar using in a Cookie Monster costume at a client location yesterday. So that is a thing that I have done now in my life, in case you're wondering how far I have fallen from the tree of having any dignity whatsoever.
And you were in Virginia, and you were that close and didn't say hello.
Was I that, I literally never left the place. I got chauffeured from the airport to the yacht club. Oh, y'all heard that right.
Ooh.
But before you get too carried away, it was like 1950s called. They had 3 hotel rooms at this yacht club. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so fancy. No, it was like, I was expecting like Frank Sinatra to be crooning outside. It was 1950s all the way.
Shannon, do you want to know
I-
why they call them yacht clubs? Just so you know,
No,
because
what?
but in our entire country, you don't have to have a liquor license if you are a yacht club and have at least one member.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, they
That's
had
why
a
they call
ton
them
of
yacht clubs.
members because I was at that club for like 2 solid days. Every meal, our whole event was there, all the things, and I was shocked by how many people were coming in and out of there and utilizing their yacht club memberships for sure.
Alana, I
Yes,
wonder if it
Nelson, I
compared
see
to
your
your
face.
hotel in New England.
It's a hotel in New England.
No,
What?
Jim and I were at a trade show in New England and my hotel caught fire.
Oh, oops.
I was
I
in the
blame
good part of the
Jim.
hotel. I was in the nice refurbished part of the hotel, and Alana was in the
Good.
Not so
1950-ish
much.
hunting lodge.
You guys. That's okay. Last year at TSSA, I think there was a fire alarm, wasn't there, at one
Yeah,
of the,
during the
yeah.
roundtable. Yeah, during the
Yeah.
roundtables.
Mhm.
Where was that at?
That was
Texas.
in Austin at the JW Marriott during roundtables, the fire
Mhm.
alarm went off.
Something
The
in
amount
the
of storage
spa
people
caught
who
on fire.
didn't move was quite frightening. Like
Yeah,
everybody just
I
looked
stay-
around.
I stayed in the room the entire time. There's no way.
Yeah, we didn't
Probably
care.
Jennifer Bowman probably pulled the fire alarm.
You know what, Mr. Mooney? Don't even with
Oh,
me.
you heard that, Jennifer?
Yes, I hear everything. He always calls me out on everything. But last year at TSSA, I guess it was a candle in the spa that caught a towel on fire.
And how would you know this, Jennifer?
Because she was in the spa. Kept
No,
herself
I
on fire.
wish. yeah, I'll just be over here. No, because I think I was with George from Open Tech or Kelly from one of them.
Oh,
and
there's
they
trouble.
asked, yeah, right. They asked what happened, and one of the maintenance people was like, there was a towel in the spa that caught fire by a candle.
Crazy.
So, Alana, you were on earlier. We were talking about online versus live auctions. How many people do you think are still hosting live ones versus online? Because I mean, online is so much easier, and the headaches that go away with having online are that just dramatically. So, I mean, why do you think people are still hesitant not to do online auctions?
Mostly change. They don't like change. I know a lot of the older people are scared of technology. I just talked to an owner who I was trying to help her with her account, and I asked her what her website was, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want my facility's information online. I don't have a website." I almost fell out of my chair. I was like,
Is
"Wait,
her
what?"
facility for sale? No reason.
Yeah, I was just like, "Tell me more about this facility." What?
I'll list it.
So yeah, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't like it on. I was like, "You do know for online auctions, we have to put your address online."
Oh my
And she's
goodness.
very hesitant about it. She thinks
Brian will
people-
go in halfsies with me and we'll
Yeah.
get Wilson to sell it to us.
Oh,
It
I-
will
No,
be
it's funny.
great.
Her information is probably already online.
Of
and she
course
probably-
it is. It's public information.
This is a very funny story in relation to this. So my brother was in the military, went to the Naval Academy, and all that fun stuff. And then all that ancestry stuff came out, right? And we're like, oh, we should do it as a family. And he's like, I don't want the government to have my information. And I'm like, dude, you were in the military. They know everything about you already. Don't worry. This
And wait till he
23andMe
finds out how driver's licenses work.
isn't going to disclose anything, and same with this lady that she's like, oh, my information, the man's going to come get me. Well, the man's going to rent from you also.
I asked her, I was like, "How do you get lead? Like, how do people find you?" And she's like, "We're in a small community." She's like, "I know everybody. They've all been my tenants for 20 plus years." And I was like, "Tell me
You
about
probably
your
have
rate
to walk-
increases." So I was trying.
Probably doesn't
I'm
do
just
awesome.
asking her leading questions like, "You've had the same customers and tenants for 20 years? That's weird."
Just probably like,
Well,
what
it's
is a
funny.
rate increase?
I've asked people several times. I'm like, are you building a storage facility for your friends and family?
Right.
Are you building a storage facility to make money? Because there's two different types of owners.
That's true.
It's
And
not
listen,
like
it's a
somebody that
perfectly
built a-
valid option to have an entire building just to rent to your friends and family. If that's just the kind of generous human that you want to
Yeah.
be, by all
Yeah.
means, go on with your bad self. But
Right.
And
Quick
Jim, to answer
question.
your question, it's 10% of people still do live auctions. I just had an operator here in Arizona who has about 35 facilities and they've still been doing live. And she goes, I can't even get people to collectively give me $10. I was like, Lord. So they slowly or surely coming over to the dark side of to the online auction world, but it's taking them a little bit of time. They're old school.
They-
So getting old school mentality is very hard out of storage when 90% of the owners could be my grandparents. So
Hey, watch that come. Hey, Jim, we got a hand raised, but Josh Huff has got a question here in the chat that you got to talk about.
Yeah, you on, Josh? Go ahead and bring it up. Are you able to talk? Josh, going once, going twice.
Not right now, he says.
Yeah, you put in
All
the
right.
chat right now.
All right, well, Mary had her hand up. I saw that.
Okay, my question was in answer to you, what you had to say is how many people do live auctions? I'm gonna tell you, I'm a person that gets really anxious. I've done a few, I did live auctions and then I've done a few online auctions and I got anxious there. You know, you take the pictures, you put them up, nothing happens till the last 10 minutes. And I was just so anxious so anxious during that time that it just stressed me out that I do live auctions with an auctioneer where I have an auctioneer come in with his following and his people come in and they buy and it's done and over with. And I don't have that anxiousness going on for 2 weeks before, whether waiting for somebody to place a bid. So I'm one of that 10% that she mentioned that does live auctions.
Mary,
Alana, do
I
you
just
wanna
have a
touch
quick
on that?
question. What's the
Yes.
difference between the 10 minutes they're bidding in person and the 10 minutes they're bidding online at the last 10 minutes? Like what causes that anxiety between?
I guess because you've been waiting I've waited 2 weeks, however long I had that, it's been a few years. And then right there at the last end, there's the bidding is going on and it's like, it goes on beyond the time and you don't know, I get anxious up into that time and then they start bidding and it was just it was just a fear of going, I made fear, anxiousness, heart palpitations. It was just really pretty much high end. And the people that come to these auctions that come in person, we see them on a regular basis. There's been a few times I raised Chihuahua puppies and I couldn't go to the auction because I had a mom in labor. So my husband had to go and it was a disaster because he doesn't know anything. You know how it is if you leave your spouse to do something you normally do. And it was all good. It happened, but it was one of those things that was just, I was anxious that even because I wasn't there, I guess, and I had no control over it except for, okay, where's Mary? Where's the next unit at? And I walk them from one unit to another unit. But the same auctioneer, he goes to one where they just give him a numbers and they go and they stay in the office and they just go from one unit to the other unit to get it done. So I guess it's just the idea of seeing it done, it's over with, and then collecting the money instead of, okay, where's the people coming in? When are they coming in? Getting that sort of anxiousness is just over with. And the anxiousness is just one day instead of building up to 2 weeks.
If it works for you, you do you. It's not worth a heart attack. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it's the
Jim,
first time I
Josh
heard
wants us
that.
to-
So that's why I was like, now I'm curious.
Exactly.
Josh wants us to answer this question, so I'll read. I don't know if you can read the question. We got a husband has a tenant who the lease is in the husband's name, but the husband left for another woman. But the phone number for the Noki lock is in the wife's name. Husband requested access to the unit, but the manager sends the login to the registered renter, the Noki information, who go to the wife. I mean, my thought was if it's the husband's lease, the husband can change the information on the phone number to his number and resend the Noki lock that way.
Yeah. Lease trumps all, right?
Lease trumps all, exactly my point. So I don't know why that's just, I mean, I've seen it before where the lease is in the husband's name and the wife always pays it and she wants access to it. And I wouldn't let her because she's, well, I'm paying for it. Yeah, but it's in his name. So I agree with you, Jim. The lease trumps everything. If the lease is in his name, he can update the information with his number, resend an Okie lock, and then he's done.
Agreed. Yeah, I was typing that exact same answer you guys said. I mean, the leases, he's the legal leaseholder. I don't know how it works on the Nokia on the back end house register that I haven't used those at any of my properties, but I would agree. I mean, he should be able to go in, basically change his information, like a change of address form, update it to his phone number, and sign off on it. And then, is she obligated to let him know?
No, he's not, because
Because
it's his
he's the
lease.
leaseholder. He's the only one obligated to get any information. She's irrelevant. It's just her phone number was there.
Yep.
Well, it just
You
posed a
just need to
question for
fill out a
me.
change form.
The only question is voting for me, Barry, is if she did the lease and put it in his name,
Yeah.
and she signed it. So
The signature on the lease, exactly.
yeah, that's going to be. But I mean, the lease is in his name. I would say the lease is in his name.
Oh, wait,
his
Josh
ID.
just posted another question, Jim. Is the manager obligated to let the husband know that it's the wife's number on
Yeah, he's the
file?
leaseholder. He can get any
Yeah.
and all information possible. He's the
All-
true leaseholder.
I would
All a
say yes.
manager has to do is say, all right, let me verify the phone number before I send this link. And if it's the wife, the husband says, nah, send
Yeah,
it to
that's not
mine.
it. Yeah.
Yep, correct.
So how about another scenario that's similar to this that relates? How about if two people get into dispute, they have several units with us. We've had this going on right now. And so what ended up happening is the leaseholder, she stopped paying on one of the units and let it go.
It's legal. It's her unit, and she stops paying. It goes to auction. I had it, Anthony, where I had husband and wife that actually got lawyers involved, and the lawyers put stays on both the units, so they were paying for it. But again, it was a bad situation because we took that property over, and when we took the property over, the old owners had his and her name on the lease, which created all the chaos. That's why I've always said from day one, only one name on a lease ever.
If
Yeah.
there's an
And
alternate
I've always practiced that, you know, like, hey, if you want somebody else on there, put them as an alternate and then sign, you know, several states have the language in there, my alternate contact, you know, you may contact my alternate contact. You got to initial or sign in that portion of whatever state that you're in. Again, operating in South Carolina and Georgia as well. But that was one of the scenarios we had because the customer came to us and said, hey, I want to transfer ownership of this particular unit to my ex significant other. And we were like, no, right now you can't. The unit has to be paid up and cleared before we're going to transfer anything, because we can't transfer a bad, you know, past due balance over to a new person.
That you raised an
So
interesting
since-
point there with
Yep.
change of ownership, because sometimes when people want to change from mother to daughter or husband to wife, whatever, and they want to move out, we actually had one of the lawyers help us draft the change of ownership
Yep.
addendum that, you know, you're doing this, it's going to be signed, but we actually had it written in the terminology that if the new person doesn't sign a lease, even though the other person's relinquishing the or whatever, they're still legally responsible until the new lease is signed.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
what we kind of try to do is we used to do that as well, but I've kind of got to now where, I mean, 9 times out of 10 I try this. It doesn't always work, but I want a new lease signed. I get a lot of people don't want because they're grandfathered in maybe a cheaper rate, whatever. I'll honor the rate, but I just want a fresh, clean new lease. I want to get the other person's name off. I want to eliminate any drama down the road, because they're gonna have to sign it anyway. So I'm like, you bring that person in with you. We'll get you moved out. We'll sign the new lease. We'll do everything right here at the moment. We'll honor the same I make them pay the new admin fee, you know, but you know, I'll give them a concession or something to kind of help out with it if need be. But yeah, I try to just start off fresh, and I don't know if you were saying on that one, you know, what we've had it, like somebody passes away, the kids aren't on the lease, they don't have anything, they're still working through paperwork. Like we'll allow them to keep paying on the unit. We just don't give them receipts or anything, you know, related to the unit, but so they can figure out the paperwork and kind of get it squared away. And then they'll come in with the correct paperwork that we can give them possession of the unit and all that. But
anytime that happens, it's better. I mean, I you know, it's funny because you know, Jeff Greenberg told me one time I had a wife who was complaining that she was paying for the unit. She had the unit, she had the gate code, she had the key, and all she wanted to do is take stuff out of it. I'm like, look, you know, you come in and I'm not here, unit's emptied, it's gone by my standards. So that whole change of ownership thing, that's why, Barry, we don't do transfers. We got rid of the transfer button completely. You have to rent a new unit, sign a new lease, get all the paperwork done, and then we'll move money around, because too many times doing an audit on a transferred unit, you have no lease for the new unit. You have the lease for the old unit. So we just said from going forward, no transfers.
We got rid of that this year as well. And really the biggest thing we did too was people were just taking advantage. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going to transfer from this unit to this unit. Like, okay, well, it'll just take me like 2 days. Well, then next thing you know, as soon as you transfer them, that unit is now available to rent. Well, then, oh, my kid's got baseball. I got this. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later, they still have both units. And one of them you have to down because it's available online, and then it's completely full of other stuff. So they're tying up 2 units and only paying for one. So, but what we do to try to help it out is we'll say it kind of basically incentivize them to move out of the previous unit quicker. Say, look, the faster you get out, we'll prorate your rent over to your new unit as an incentive. The quicker you get out, the more money we'll transfer over, you know?
Barry, you and I had this conversation in Texas last year. I think that's why you went to it. It was me, you, a couple other guys from your organization. We're having this big conversation about this whole thing. So it just, for us, it makes sense, because I actually saw one time where somebody did a transfer button, and that unit got rented online that night. The person showed up there and couldn't get in, which caused more chaos. So
Absolutely.
that's another reason why we did it. So I see, Robert, you got your hand up. What do you got, bud?
Okay, so basically what we do is if a husband and wife are in a domestic situation where one's going to leave the other, or vice versa, what we suggest to either party is, if that's going to happen, just rent a new unit and just take your items out if you had the gate access code to the previous unit. That way we get a new rental, and then so on and so forth.
Good point.
I always remember I offered that same when I was a manager at a site. I offered that exact same scenario. And she's like, no, I'll do something better. And she didn't rent the unit. The dumpster was right by their unit. And she took what she wanted in her car and she tossed the rest in the dumpster.
There's your first problem. You shouldn't have a dumpster on your property. No
that's 20
dumpsters.
Years ago. Give me a break.
No dumpsters.
No.
Right, Anthony? No dumpsters?
Hey, I got a question for the brain trust here.
Love it.
Go ahead.
Now, I don't know if Mark is on, and I know I was talking to Jim about this once before. There's a facility about an hour and a half drive from me. I went and talked to the guy. He's wanting 1.2 million for it. Anyhow, I did not know that he is also wanting $50,000 just to talk to him about it.
What?
No.
Yes. Now,
Red flag.
Yeah,
big old red flag.
Yes, that was the first one.
That's a good one.
Oh, there's more?
Oh, there's more. There's a crap ton more.
Oh.
And I wanted to get the highest impression of this too. Anyhow, I was talking to a realtor that is in my home state. And she's like, why doesn't he go through his friend who's a realtor and an attorney? Because this is an off-market deal that's been on the market for 2 years now. And
Red flag.
yes, there's strike two. Now, the guy has a fear of computers. Everything is done on stone tablet with the chisel. I did get a copy of his rent roll, and I'm still in the process of decoding that. But I had asked about his tax paperwork because I wanted to see revenue and stuff. It's 50 pages long.
Can we all say red flag together?
Can I just
Don't
ask,
leave me
Yes.
out here alone.
Flag.
can I ask a quick
But the guy
question?
has not raised rent in the 30 years that he has had it too. But it brings in $8,000 a year. If I bought it for 1.2, I would be paying $1,500 a month in property tax. But I
Hey,
really
Sean,
don't know.
let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Are you sure there's even leases on these units?
I'm pretty sure there's leases, yes.
Jim
Barry
asked
shaking
as
his
an
head, 'cause I got
expert
the
of
same
no
thought you had, Barry.
leases.
There's no leases.
Yeah. Let me ask you a different. Let me ask Jim's question a different way. Why, or after all the brain power you're putting into this, are you still pursuing it? What about at the facility that you says I have to own this place regardless of all the crap I got to go through to get it?
Good point, Brian.
Yeah,
'Cause, I
that's
mean, a
what
lot
I'm
of times it's just not
doing
worth it.
now.
It's what?
That's what I've been coming to right now too.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Write him an offer straight up, give him 3 options and call it a day and say, get back to me when you're ready. No sense in going through all the crap, $50,000 earnest money, all this other stuff, and just there's
And I
3
offered
good
him
places to buy.
7.
Not to
Yeah,
mention it's an hour and a half drive each way.
I offered him 700, and he told me to get the fuck out of the house.
Then I would take that and walk away, dude.
Yep.
I did.
Yeah.
Then it's not the effort you're putting in that, Sean.
Way not worth it.
I guarantee you, as you get more into this, there's going to be more, as Shatton saying, red flags. We looked at a property in Oklahoma a couple of years ago. It looked really good. And he was talking about the expansion he did on the property. I said, okay, did you get all that permitted? He goes, no, it was never approved. So half of his property was on land that was never approved for storage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you, but no thank you. We wanted the property. It was really, really good property. However, until he got all his ducks in a row and had it approved and all those things in there, I wasn't going anywhere near it.
Yeah.
When you see one red flag, dude, you see a lot. I mean,
yeah, the
unless
realtor
you
I
can
was
have a conversation with a guy over coffee that has nothing to do with the property and talk about him and his life and what he's trying to accomplish, you may get to the eventual reason why he might thinks he wants to sell or why he thinks it's worth triple the money.
Sean, I don't know
Other
if you
than
saw
that-
it. Wilson just commented. Wilson's a broker right now. Reach out to Wilson Covington. He's more than happy to have a conversation with you.
Anyway.
Okay. So Matt Queen just put on here, can we have a deeper dive on no dumpsters? Everyone in agreement. Yeah, no dumpsters ever.
Okay, devil's advocate. Then what do you do when all the crap's left behind?
You don't let them leave crap behind. We have in our lease, it's $50 per item if you leave stuff behind.
I love it.
And then we will use the collection agency we talked about earlier to send you a bill to the collections for the clean out. But I love when people say, well, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it either. Take it with you.
And if your tenants ever complain that you're mean, offer to send them to Jim's facilities.
Yes.
Yeah, I say, yeah, because I'll play kind of Jim's point. I mean, we have dumpsters on probably 85% of ours. I mean, because of that, it's you can send a collection, you do all that, but at the end of the day, you're still cleaning up the mess. So I don't want to haul off every time I got to get a couch hauled out of a unit or, and I don't mind. I mean, if you train your customers, I mean, they'll use it respectfully most of the time. Don't get me wrong. Now, once it's abused, absolutely yank it out right away. But I mean, we have them at ours just, because we want to clean out units. We have other stuff we're doing there.
I always wondered about that, Barry, because I hear you, Jim. No dumpsters on site because people will use them. I absolutely get that. But I also know every single person I've ever spoken with had a unit where somebody left all their junk there. And if you don't have a dumpster, what do you do? Like literally, I'm asking all the people here, what do you do in that case?
A lot of them will
clean out people.
Yeah, they'll call the junk guys to haul it. And I'll say, if you have the dumpster, get it locked, put it behind something, lock it, cover it, something, because your tenants will fill it up. Even your tenants who are just moving in, who are packing in their storage units like Tetris masters that we know they are, they'll decide like, well, sorry, grandma's ratty old couch isn't making the cut. I'm gonna leave it in your aisle, or I'm gonna throw it in the dumpster.
We don't even have trash cans in the climate control buildings we had. We don't even put trash cans out.
No, I don't do any of that. But no, I think even putting it out there, I mean, what we do with the dumpsters too is we make sure we have signage by every dumpster of the do's and don'ts on it. And then we have a camera on it. And I've had people that come out there and dump, and then I look at it on the camera and they're a current tenant. And that helps me because because to Jim's point about, okay, they've already moved out. You've already took them off of auto pay. They probably already don't have auto pay anyway. So charge them $50, $100 is do no good because they're already gone. They don't care what you charge them. It's like people that move out on the second of the month. Yeah, you can go, okay, well, you owe $200 of rent. You're never going to see the $200. You're going to fight a battle and stress out over something you're never going to get. But like, I've had plenty of times where we've watched them on video. We send them an email that night and say, hey, look, you have 24 hours to clean this up. You're going to be charged $125. Sure enough, we come back the next day. It's not there anymore. Or they go, well, I don't know what else to do with it. So we charge them the $125, put it in the dumpster, and then it's an extra dump fee. They come out, it's $75, so we make a little bit of money on it. But I mean, I think if you're gonna have them, you definitely got to be responsible and maintain them because they can get out of control very easily.
Give their address to the junk hauler people and have them go dump in their front yard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just get to
Wilson
where,
raised,
like I said, I want to rent that unit. And those junk guys, sometimes you're calling them consistently. I mean, you've got a good one that's really cheap, but that stuff adds up really, really quick. And that's real money coming out of your pocket, I mean, on hopes that collection agents are going to get something back for you.
We also do have operators who will open up a unit for a like discard unit where it'll be, you can drop off your furniture and either they'll donate it or they put it up to an auction or a charity or anything that they do with those contents, offer it. We
Yeah.
also see it with the boxes. They'll set up like a, if you need to leave your boxes, like take a box, leave a box, type idea. And those work out well for reducing down your trash.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was somewhere the other day. I don't know if we were looking at a property or maybe it's a brand new one we just took over. I was something, but I saw actually they had signage and everything like this is a donation unit. Please be respectful and put appropriate items in there. And there was actually pretty nice stuff. And they would call it. And I talked to them. They call in like the local Goodwill or whatever donation place, and they come pick it up once the unit's full. Or even to that point, you can start on as a manager's unit and try to get it out of there that way.
Jim, got a question for you that I saw in the chat. Because again, you brought it up a few times, a collection agency that you use. It sounds like you've used them for years, right?
yeah.
Do you do everything online? How does it, what they were just asking, like, what information do they need?
So really, when I would send them, we had an Excel spreadsheet that we would fill out as we went through it. The manager would fill it out with the customer name, the unit, the address, the phone number, the email address, their driver's license number, date of birth, whatever we had to put on there, and we would just upload it right to their portal. We did that monthly on a regular basis. We would once a month, all the stores would send us a spreadsheet. We'd upload them real quick, and I'm done. If you have a social number, great, but I know 90% of people don't collect them. I always collect the driver's license number because I always have a copy of the driver's license that goes on it. And we just uploaded it. It's Collection Bureau of America is the company we were using. They're based in California. They work in all 50 states. And and it's amazing. Around the holidays, we always get people, going to buy something at the Best Buy or whatever, and it pops in our credit report and shows up. And we're probably, we get, I think we get 70% of what they collect if they collect anything. So they get 30, we get 70. But you know what? We get money back. For me, it's part of the process. We do it. Do we make a lot of money on it? No, we don't. But for me, again, I said if it's part of my process that I say we're going to do this, then we're going to do it. And to Barry's point, when they're already out the door, and I actually had one guy, literally Barry, to your point, he drug everything out of his unit around the corner and dumped it. It was a sofa match. So we charged $50 per item. His bill was like $600. Sent him to the collection agency for the clean out. A month later, we're getting a phone call, and he said to me, he goes, "I didn't think you really meant it."
Yeah.
Guess what, dude? I did.
That's a good point. I mean, and that's to your point though. That's your process, and that's a good thing. I mean, we probably don't call bluff because we don't do it. So it's like they're not gonna, they know, no one's going after it. So
Great.
Again,
I want to take 5 minutes if you don't mind. I don't know if you've seen the announcement with OpenAI announced their new browser Atlas that came out.
Yeah.
So I just want to showcase real quick because I did this about 5 minutes before we started the pre-hangout. I downloaded it, asked a quick question. It was interesting. I just want to take 5 minutes if you don't mind. I'll share my screen just so you can see the conversation I had with it about getting your site ranked locally. It was interesting.
Well, I knew if anybody was going to play with it, would be you. So,
well, of course. All right, let me share my screen here. Nothing to share for sound. All right. So anyway, this is ChatGPT Atlas. This is their new browser. You have to have a Mac currently to use this, but give it a week. I'm sure it'll be on everything else. So that's just kind of their basics of what they're talking about it here. So this is what the browser looks like. I actually imported all my Chrome browsing history and bookmarks. Just gonna start playing with this ChatGPT thing here with their browser. Anyway, I just asked, find self-storage in zip code where I live. Curious to see what brought up. Of course, extra space, surprise, surprise. Another one here. So I brought up 3. So it kind of reminded me of the map pack in Google. I brought up 3. This says, hey, if you like, I'll give you 5 or 10 more facilities, but I don't care about that. I want the top 3. And so I asked, great. Here, I'll make this a little bigger. Sorry. That won't let me. Anyway, so I asked, so what criteria do you use to showcase me those first 3 recommendations? And it flat out told me exactly what it was. Here's exactly how those 3 storage facilities were chosen. Location. Again, we don't know kind of with Google, it's always location, and wants to give you the best one that's within proximity of you. So I get that. Same thing we've been talking about over and over and over again. Good reputation. They want 4.6 stars or higher average rating. And they actually show the number of reviews, extra space, almost 700, crazy. Then it goes down from there. But reviews. Facility diversity. I thought this was interesting. It purposely gave you a choice of a large national chain, a regional brand, or a local independent facility. I'd never seen that before. So that was interesting. It's given people the option if who they want to do business with. Of course, your amenities, making sure you're always hitting those on your website.
Number 5 is really interesting, Jim.
Yeah. Number 5, review recency and transparency. So it flat out says, I skipped facilities with few or no recent reviews. So again, you just can't, oh, I got reviews, I'm good. No, this is always a continuous thing. You always have to get more reviews. So recent reviews, outdated or incomplete websites, missing pricing or photos. Just going back to our earlier conversation about, I don't want my stuff online. Yeah, well, you're invisible. And
Jim, did you ask the question about what did they mean by outdated information?
No, I can ask that here later, but then I just asked, great, well, I run a local self-storage facility. I would love it if you recommended my location. Give me the steps to follow in order to make this happen. And I'm going to put this out to everybody. In fact, I'll put it on the website as well for stuff like this. But we always talk about best practices, but it's flat out telling you this is what you need to do to get seen. So your visual content, your photos. So everyone that's on this call, we're almost coming into winter time. If you haven't done this yet for your sites, make sure the local maintenance dude, your manager, whoever, go out there and take a crap ton of photos, kind of get those stockpiled, because you don't want to have new photos with snow on the ground. So if you haven't done it yet, do it now. Get those on there. Of course, reviews, that flat out says here, get at least 10 new reviews per month. I mean, it's giving us a checklist here. Make sure your website's readable. This kind of goes back to what we talked about last week. If you haven't watched last week's about the SEO structure, I don't want to go on and on, but it's given us a flat out checklist and citation.
You should put that in the Word document, Jim, and post it somewhere.
What I'll do, in fact, I'll show you where I'll put it.
So how much I'm going to give away? Actually, a lot. We just had a meeting. You know, Eva I brought Eva on and to our marketing. And so one thing that we've recently done and probably follow suit for a lot of people will help is that, you know, going through each AI, whether it be ChatGPT browser, Comet browser, whatever that it may be that you're using, and do a search on your facility and see what comes up on each individual one to compare it. See where it's pulling the information from. If that makes sense, because each one is going to be a little bit different, you know, Bing, whether it relies on Google, Bing, whatever browser that it uses.
Yeah, we just finished doing this for your ways, Anthony, and each one is completely different for the 4 storage facilities that they have. We've got like different information coming from different directories, different places. So it's like a nice little snapshot of where to start your AI journey for each one of them. It's really nice.
And I was kind of giggling because normally my ADD kicks in on meetings, but however, yesterday I was like, wait, huh?
You were into it.
Like,
you were zoned
I was
in.
like, this is so like, because it's just mind blowing, you know, like, because you see, this is the way it's going. It's no longer going to be a Google search. It's going to be a comment search. It's going to be a ChatGPT search, whatever that it may be. It's just the way the industry is going. Give you an example. I need to find a dermatologist for my daughter this morning. She's 12, not trying to give too much of our information away, but she's 12 years old. And, like, hey, I put it into ChatGPT and I put it into Comet to say, hey, here's the parameters. My daughter's 12 years old. Here's our health insurance, who we have health insurance for. Find me a provider that accepts this insurance under this, and it pulled it right up. So it's kind of the same thing as the conversational line, just like Jim was talking about regarding that, is I'm looking for a self-storage facility in such and such city that has a loading dock. And it will pull, one of our facility, 2 out of the 4 facilities that we have loading docks, so it will pull that feature up.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, being again specific about your location, make sure it's all visible all there. And I'll, again, kind of going back to this, let me share my screen one more time. Based off of our conversations, I'll keep adding to this stuff, not to get too overloaded, and I'll try to make it as easy as possible. But if you haven't gone to the website yet, storagemeetup.com, it's continually being added to. Someone just asked me about replays. Cool. Go to replays, meetup replays. They're all here, all time-stamped. So it's a great way to do that. But what we were just talking about for resources and tools. Like last week, we were talking about an SEO checklist. Cool. There we go. Still got to fine-tune some stuff, but I mean, this is a great way to just, based off what we were talking about last week, like we just have a checklist. Well, cool. Well, now you do. You can check that off. There's a lot there. It's a great way to don't know who that was. It's a great way to kind of showcase to your whoever's handling your website, kind of have this list. It's great for accountability. And so based off this conversation, I'm going to make another one for the AI, kind of a checklist, what the AI just recommended to me. So I'll put that in here as well. So anyway, if you have a look at this, go check it out. I don't know who that's. Did you happen?
It's Kelly. It keeps lighting up on her box every time it sounds off.
Thank you. All right, then let me go mute Kelly and go ahead. We got about 10 more minutes, guys, so just want to be mindful of the time in here. I'm going to go in and mute Kelly wherever she's at. Any other questions we got?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My name is Mary. I'm in Springfield, Missouri. I have a facility that I'm working on doing the my Google My Business, and we've been hearing some talks about with the AI marketing where we need to always add our FAQs, and how FAQs is a big thing. We need to have 1,000 FAQs. I've been listening to different AI stuff. Anyway, so I'm wondering where the best place to put the FAQs at. Would it be best to put that at the bottom where we add a post, or should we do it as ask a question? And do you know what?
Your GBP, you're saying? Or are you saying on your website?
Yeah. No, on the Google My Business page.
Okay, so for the Google My Business, what you do is you go ahead and you ask yourself a question and then answer it yourself.
And that's the best place to put the FAQs, as opposed to making it as a product or news update.
Yes, because everything else will go away eventually, whereas the Q&As will not.
Okay.
Right. And then that's flat like giving you the structure of the FAQ. So yeah, don't overthink it. That's where it goes. And
also, I think I heard you say thousands. I would not suggest thousands. I would suggest quality, very, very refined to your location questions and answers. So go through your phone call records and put them into AI and say, what are the top 20 questions that come up in the last 60 days?
Okay.
Do you think, like if you own or manage more than one facility, would you do specific FAQs for each facility, or would you
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we all get storage. I mean, it's we rent there. It's a lot of things are overlapping. I totally get it, but you're putting in some of these keywords of your local area. So you're structuring it for your 3-mile market.
Yeah.
Yes,
Connor, the word that I've heard on that, I'm so sorry, Jim.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say the word that I've heard on that is micro local, where you want it to be not just I use the example of everybody has like the steeplechase market center where all of the retail is, but nobody in your area actually calls it that. They call it the Target shopping center, right? So when you're putting things in an FAQ, put steeplechase in there, sure, because there's a sign, but use the word Target shopping center because that's what people actually call it in your area and what they use, and it's what makes you very, very local. And there are, 100 examples like that, but just think of that like, I want my store to be the most local to you. I'm going to use the information that's important to you for that.
Most of the
Yeah.
FAQs that I see, because I look through facilities, Google listings all day long, mostly when I'm trying to find an owner, I'll see the FAQs. It will say something like, what street is the entrance on? And it will say something like behind the Starbucks. So you're making life easier from an outside perspective when you're looking at the reviews. And I'll even have my husband who's old, my kids who are young, and like my mom look at things when I'm doing it. I'm like, what do you have questions on? So that I can answer them beforehand. So I ask different demographics. Thankfully, I just am related to a whole bunch in my house. But I ask different people for different answers. And you can even ask friends of yours who are storage operators on here, like, hey, look at my website. What questions would you have if you were looking for my facility?
Alana, I'm going to offend Jeff because Jeff is not old.
This is
I'm going to say AARP thinks otherwise.
Oh my
Shannon, you
gosh.
made a real good point because there was a company here right here in Pennsylvania where I live. They're literally right next to the York Fairground, which has been around for 170 plus years, whatever it is. And nowhere in their FAQs or their directions did they have anything listed that they're the closest one to the York Fairground. Like, guys, everybody here knows where the York Fairground is. So if they're saying buy the fairground, you should be coming up in that search.
Yeah.
Be proud of that fair, Jim. I've been several times. It is the oldest fair in the continental United States.
It is?
We're gonna get you on Trivial Pursuit. What be said? I just got my AARP thingy letter in the mail last week. Ripped that sucker
Hey,
up.
Lana, look, I got your Uranus mug.
My what?
Uranus,
It's
Missouri.
in Missouri, right? Yeah. I love it.
This is what I do when Jim makes me mad. And yes, he's holding a flower and has a headband that fell off.
I love it.
But
Okay,
I flick him. Every time he calls me with something.
Jim Ross, I need to know how I get one of those because I have been told that there's like 10% off on coffee. And how is it that I have gotten to be the age that I am and I am still paying full price like a sucker? What is that about?
You're not on the radar. I have no idea.
I guess. I don't know. I'm
Shannon,
older
they
than
won't
you.
give me coffee.
You bounce off the walls, buddy.
That's great. Next week, we'll see how next week goes. Again, we're still doing this next week, but we got the Texas show, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be traveling and doing that. But next week's going to be kind of like the same thing. There's no set topic.
Are you
Maybe
dressing
we'll
up for
do,
the show
scary
next week
stories
for
or something like
Halloween?
that. What's that?
Are you dressing up for the show on Halloween?
I'm scary enough. No, I don't. I'm such a Scrooge that way. I haven't dressed up for Halloween since I was like 12.
If you'd
Dude,
like,
we
you
got
can
invited to a
come get it.
Halloween party. We got invited to a party. It was you had to dress up to go. I told my wife I'm not going.
No.
I ain't going.
Shame on you. Participate with good attitude, Jim and Jim.
Yeah, Shannon's got a Cookie Monster costume you could borrow.
There you
Shannon,
go.
you see this?
Jim, just go as a Phillies fan. Wear a Phillies shirt. You are
There you
what you
go.
say you are in the world that we live in.
I should wear a
That's right.
Diamondbacks jersey.
Yeah, there you go. Could loan you one.
I happen
I don't know
to
if you'd
know.
want to do that.
I happen to know that Jim Mooney has Phillies jammies that he could wear and go as Saturday morning for his event.
They are actually
My
very
local
comfortable.
spirit
Yes.
store sells
Well, thank
Phillies
God
Karen
Jim
costume.
Moon won't be in Texas then. That is not a sight I want to see.
Who here is going to be at the Texas trade show? I know Jen is, Shannon, I am. Is that it?
Dusty.
Dusty will be there. He lives there. He has to go. He's like the ambassador of Austin.
I'm sure
That's right.
Barry will be there.
Wait, is Dusty still in here?
Yeah, he's here.
He's there.
He's still in there.
Dusty, I'm putting in my request for barbecue leftovers now.
That's what I was saying. He should be bringing barbecue.
Hold on.
Dusty, make
stuffed
sure you
hatch
charge
chili
her
pepper
double.
cheese.
Are you doing barbecue at your booth or something?
No, Dusty is like
He's like
a
the pit
renowned
master.
barbecuer. This man should have his own barbecue restaurant. If you're friends with him on social media, every day it's something delicious, and he just teases you because you don't get to eat it, and he doesn't bring us any.
Right. I'm gonna need a stuffed hatch pepper. I will take that from you next week, Dusty.
Hey, Lana, we're making Philly cheesesteaks this weekend, so yeah.
Yeah, I've been to dinner at Jim's house before. He made me Philly cheesesteaks, and we went and made it on the Blackstone.
Okay,
Where's
do
the
you
link
do
to
it
place
with the
orders?
cheese
I'm hungry
whiz
now.
or the provolone?
No whiz.
I know,
No
it's very
whiz.
sad. No whiz.
No whiz.
Hey, I'm only asking. I don't have a dog in that hunt. I just
No
need to
whiz.
know.
I do. It's whiz. It's always
whiz.
whiz.
You gotta
No
double up
Without-
and do both. That's the real trick.
You
It's
can
whiz
do
and
that?
crab fries.
Crab fries are good.
Just hand
Use
out
more
food
words
at your
about crab
booth.
fries.
What are crab fries?
It's pretty much fries with Old Bay seasoning, but like a mass amount of Old Bay. It's
And then you
delicious.
can dip it in like a cheese sauce. So yeah.
And it's funny because every time I go to Pennsylvania, I stay with Melissa Stiles, and we can see Jim Mooney's house from her back patio. So I go out there and wave.
Are you serious?
Okay.
Most time
Jim,
I'm
I
not here,
throw
so it doesn't
eggs at
matter.
it.
So
You should
No.
throw eggs at his house, Alana.
No, because then Jen would have to clean it, and I like Jen.
There you go. That's the only thing he's got going for him is his wife.
no, my daughter's your favorite Mooney, I was told.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Pam's my favorite Mooney.
Oh, Robert Mattia had a very important question, Jim.
Oh, I missed it. Where?
He'll say neither.
Absolutely correct. Neither one. I do not do Geno's or Pat's. Absolutely not. It's a tourist trap. There
So
are
then
so
what
many
is
better
it?
local places to go to that Geno's and Pat's I steer clear from completely. I will never go there.
Name names then, Jim. That's all we gotta
Oh
say.
God, D'Alessandro's, my brother's hoagie store, Pat Steaks, Jim Steaks. Depending on where you're at and what you're looking for, some have like sesame seed rolls and different rolls they make. Some are fresh baked, some are. But yeah, Geno's and Pat's is just a tourist trap.
Good to
Brian
know.
Bogdanoff took us to a place under the freeway by the stadium that was pretty good when we were
You
there.
went
for
to
your
Tony
dad's game.
Luke's.
Okay,
You
yeah,
went
that
to
was
Tony
pretty good.
Luke's. It had pork. You
Mhm.
could have got pork or cheesesteaks. Yes.
All right, guys, I gotta bail for another call, but I love you. I'll see you soon.
You're staying for 30 seconds for the selfie. But
Oh,
where
selfie.
else
great.
can you go to go to storage meetup? You go just storage. No, we got food recommendations here. So that's why you
Yeah,
guys can go
it
to
got
that.
brought
We
up
got
because
food,
of
got
you,
food.
Dusty. We all put in our orders for Austin, just so
That's
you're clear.
right.
All right. Turn your cameras on. We're going to do our little selfie here at the end of each episode here. Got to commemorate who's showing up. So
Lana, bring me some leftovers back to Phoenix.
cool. All right. Turn your cameras on. We're going to do a selfie. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, one more because we got too many zooms on here. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, we'll do it again next week. I think next week's going to be kind of free flowing. Maybe we'll tell horror stories. I don't know. I got a bunch of horror stories of self storage, so I'm sure you guys have too. So,
All
come
right,
next week,
guys.
we'll hang out.
Have
All
a
right,
good one.
thank you so
Appreciate it,
much.
Jim. Have a good
See ya.
one.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
guys.